What's up, guys? Hope you're doing good. Just taking a stroll through the block. I wanted to talk about a concept that I think is important more now than ever in the type of society that we have currently. Most of you have heard it said that, money is the root of all evil, right? And this isn't a topic about money at all. But I've come to find out that it might be attention. Attention may be the root of all evil now. Attention is now a currency, right? That's why you have so many people trying to build channels, trying to focus on subscribers and likes and shares and all that stuff. And I remember realizing this when I was watching like a random prank channel. We've seen all those on YouTube where people go and do crazy stuff, dangerous stuff even, stupid stuff, just for attention, just for likes. And you wonder how far people will push that boundary. I've seen people in New York trying to steal people's phones and shit and just get a reaction and doing a whole bunch of stupid stuff. And I wonder how far people are willing to push it just for attention, just to go viral, just for likes and shares. And attention now is the greatest asset that you have. Your focus is the greatest asset that you have outside of time. Time will always be the greatest asset that you have. But right now, I want you to think about something. And this is how it's always been, but it's more now than ever. We live in a world now where every moment of the day, there's a battle for your mind, your focus, your attention, and then eventually your money. You cannot go anywhere. You cannot pick up a phone. You cannot do anything without seeing advertising. And companies have figured out a long time ago, and again, more now than ever, that advertising works because people are easily influenced, right? And they drop millions and millions of dollars into advertising campaigns and research, behavioral research, psychological research, down to colors and shapes. And a big one is sexual implications inside of a video or an image or an ad. Tends to sell more, and so they'll utilize that in their advertising and kind of just sneak things in there, right? But the point is that attention is now the greatest thing that you have to offer another person or a company. And so the purpose of this video is to make you aware of what's going on all the time, and so that you know what people are working for, what people are trying to get out of you, what companies are trying to get out of you. Your focus and attention is a currency. It is a currency now. And if you understand that you can't open an app on your phone without getting blasted by ads, you can't get on YouTube without ads, you can't get on Hulu without ads unless you're paying for a higher subscription, you can't watch TV without ads, you can't listen to the radio without ads, you can't drive around without billboards and signs on the side of the road. When you realize that, you'll know what I'm talking about. Everything is advertising. It is a battle for your mind to influence you into making a decision or to take a certain behavior. Companies make money from people not realizing this, right? If you don't understand this, then you can't fight against it. You can't protect yourself. You can't protect your mind against what goes in. You can't protect your eyes from what you actually see. You can't protect your brain from the programming that comes from that. You can't protect yourself from being influenced, right? And so the point of this video is to get you to understand and become aware of something that's very, very, very prevalent, very real, so that you can not only integrate this and know about this in terms of advertising and not letting yourself fall into that type of stuff, but there's a greater purpose behind that. And again, everything I talk about really comes down to awareness. But it's harder to fool you when you know what the fool is trying to do, right? Don't allow yourself to be fooled. Everyone is trying to influence you. Everyone is trying to sell you something. Even in the most basic sense. Right now, I guess I'm selling you a message, right? Even though it's free, I'm giving you a message. Everyone is trying to sell you something. And it's very, very hard to fall for anyone's stuff or their attempts to influence you and change your behavior patterns and get some outcome that they're looking for when you know exactly what is going on. The power that comes from that, I'm gonna tell you, it gives you all the leverage back. People don't know what their leverage points are, what things bring them leverage, and so they don't know their own power. The most dangerous thing to any company or any organization, any group that's really trying to influence people is the people learning of their own power and their leverage individually, which then gives them a sense of what they can do collectively. And that's where the power is, in the collective people. But if you don't have that power in your own life individually, then you're going to struggle with certain things. You're going to fall into certain traps. You're not going to know why things are happening to you. And that's where the danger comes in. We now live in a world where it's about shares and likes and posts and comments and memes. It's all about smileys and a million different ways to put some message in your face. And people have caught on to that, right? Now we have a thing called clickbait. That used to be something only really marketers knew about. And I've known about that for many years. But everyone has caught on to that now. It's all attention, the hypey titles and the clickbaity images, right? Everything is about attention and focus. If you don't know that this is happening, you're going to take the losing end on that. Attention and focus is an energy, and energy is currency. And I want you to think about your focus as a cup of energy. And no cup, doesn't matter what you fill it with or how big the cup may be, it's limited. Whatever you put in it is limited, right? It's not an unlimited source. In a day, you have a certain amount of energy, a certain amount of focus and attention that you could put into whatever it is you want to do. And if you wake up every morning knowing that your cup is limited, you have a choice as to what you give your mind to, what you give your attention and your focus to. Then you can better prioritize. Then you could better understand what to spend your time on, what to completely ignore, right? The more you ignore all this outside stuff, this external stuff that's trying to influence you and get you to do certain things and sell you stuff and change your mind and confuse you, the more energy that you have for yourself to devote to the things that are important. I realize that life is pretty simple, and that's what I'm fascinated about. This is what I spend my time thinking about and analyzing and reflecting on. What's simple about life and what's difficult, and what things are simple but we make complicated for ourselves. Life is simple. It's complicated when you're bombarded with different messages and concepts that you then have to sift through. You have to sift through all the layers of the confusion. And when you don't have clarity, things get complex. You don't know what your next move is. You're not confident about what the next thing you need to do is, right? And that's what causes confusion. When you have too much to do, too much to think about. And I see people that are just so distracted. They're so distracted. They're so easily influenced. And I judge people basically by how easily influenced they are. That's critical because, again, there are people that know exactly what they're doing. They have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and a lot of resources to make you do what you think you're doing on your own. You're not doing it on your own. You've been influenced. And the only way you get your leverage back is by understanding that people want your focus. They want your mind. They want your attention, and they want your money. That's what they want. And once you say, got it. It's nearly impossible for anyone to, no, it doesn't matter what anyone tries to say or do, you now own your own mind, you own your own attention, and you know, well, this isn't worth my time, this isn't worth me putting any type of investment into, or I'm not gonna allow this to influence me and change this and that or add confusion or whatever the case may be, because now you know what is going on. When you understand that your focus is just as important, if not more important than the money that you think is more important than anything, that's when you're gonna be able to own your own brain, your own mind, your own thoughts. Your own thoughts. It becomes very difficult for someone to influence you. It is very difficult to influence me. Very difficult. Very difficult. Am I able to be influenced? Yes. But here's the difference. I know when I'm being influenced, and I allow myself to be influenced when and if and how I want to. It's not an unconscious thing. And that's where I want to get you to. Where you in real time know how you're being influenced, if someone's trying to influence you, why they're trying to influence you in real time, right? Because you own your own thoughts. Your thoughts are original. Your beliefs are original. Your behaviors are original. People are so easily influenced. So easily influenced. They're like the wind that's blowing right now. Look at these trees. These trees right here, they're swaying. That's how people are. So easily swayed. So easily thrown about. And something that would otherwise be simple, now their lives now become complicated and difficult because they're so easily swayed. I see people that are so into reality TV crap and what happened on the news and what celebrity did XYZ and what new movie or this thing came out or this game or so-and-so said this thing or did you see this new product that came out? I'm gonna cop that. And that those are not original ideas. Those are not original desires. Someone's selling you that, and you gotta know when you're being sold. Because when you know when you're being sold, you can choose if you wanna buy. There are things that are not worth your time and your energy. And before you put your energy into things that are not important, it should go to you first and what your goals are. Life is actually simple. We make it complex by our lack of awareness, our lack of discipline, how easily we are influenced by other things that distract us. Until you're able to choose what you can focus on intentionally, consciously, and what you're not going to focus on intentionally and consciously, you are going to have issues. You're going to have problems, 100%, because that's a foundation. That is a foundation of you being able to have total control of yourself. Total control of yourself. Some people don't have that backbone, and that goes back to what I was saying. They're so easily swayed, like the wind that's blowing behind me right now. So easily swayed. And it's sad because that makes your life very, very difficult. It brings on confusion that you don't need from something that's not even confusing. I found that the best thing that you could do is simplify your life. And part of that is removing the unnecessary things. The things that bring weight and confusion and reduce clarity in your life, and constantly having things on your mind that are not important and things that you're spread too thin, you're focused on too much. If you want to be happy, care about a little bit. Care as little as possible. That at the end of the day, that's the message. Know what to care about. That's huge, right? That's kind of what I'm talking about now. Not focusing on the wrong things. Knowing exactly what to care about. Caring about as little as possible, and knowing what level of intensity you should care about those things. That's all you need. That's it. If you care about too much, you're screwed. If you care too much about things that are not important, you're screwed. The less able you are to be influenced, the more control you have over your life. You can make a decision and it won't matter what you see on TV. It won't matter what your friends tell you. It won't matter what your friends say. It won't matter what anyone else is doing around you. It doesn't even affect you and you don't even care. Sometimes I'm surprised how little I know about things that don't matter. Like, I don't know, people like sports stuff. I mean, everyone has their own interests and stuff, but like, I have so many conversations with people that bring something up and I have no idea about it. And I literally do not care that I don't know anything about that because it's not important at all. And nothing against people that know it. Everyone has different interests. But I find a lot of people major in the minors. You gotta know what's pointless. You gotta know who's trying to play with your time and your mind and your money. You gotta know that. You gotta know when it's happening. As soon as you can't look at a screen without someone trying to pitch you something. You can't. You can't. That's the world we live in now. Everyone's trying to sell you something. So you gotta know. You gotta know. People think that Facebook is like a platform for connecting with people. That's what you think it is. That's the surface level thing. Facebook is an advertising platform. If people want to run around and you want to add friends and talk, that's cool. But the whole purpose of that was to collect information from people for free, because people were freely giving it out, for an ad platform that they could then sell to people that are advertising. And advertising goes up every single year. Advertising expenditures and income goes up every single year because people are constantly being sold to, right? If you want to see somebody that's easily influenced, I'm not targeting anybody, but I see this and I laugh at it. When I see people standing in line for hours and hours and hours because of a launch of an iPhone, that's how I know those people are screwed. When you give up hours and hours and hours and hours to go stand in a line, why? Because Apple got you in their advertising. Not only that, when I see somebody, they get the new iPhone, and months later the next one launches and they gotta get the next one now. Every year they gotta upgrade to the new iPhone, which is basically the same shit as the last one, and the one before that, and the one before that, and the one before that. That's when I start realizing you're a little too influenced, a little too easily influenced. People are able to get their money out of your pocket just by showing you an advertising, because you're too easily influenced. Once I start seeing that, that's what I'm talking about, right? And you start forking over money that you don't need. One of the new shoes that came out, blah, blah, blah. Listen to the music. Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton, Fendi, Prada. Listen to the music. And then people will go out and buy all this shit that they don't need and don't have the money for because they heard it in a song. You fucking loser. What are you doing? You see what I'm saying? Don't be one of those people. I don't give a shit what brand it is. If it's dope, it's dope. And if it's not dope, it's not dope. That's it. The brand doesn't matter. Why do people buy like really expensive stuff that's the same quality as something that's super cheap? Because they're easily influenced. That's why the US is what it is. That's why the US is what it is. Because of the level of consumption, right? There's a lot of money in, a lot of money out because of the level of consumption. Be less of a consumer. Focus on you. Make sure that your thoughts and your desires are original, are yours and yours only. Once you start realizing where the sources are of unnecessary information or unnecessary distractions or sources of confusion, you can weed those out. And your life gets simple because you know what to focus on. You no longer are swayed or confused about what you should do based on external factors. You don't give a crap what new thing is out. You're living your life and focusing on what you're gonna do. Less is more. Less is more, remember that. But I don't wanna make this video super long. Maybe I'll do a part 2, who knows, but I hope you got something out of that. Always understand when you open up your Instagram, that's an advertising platform. When you open up Facebook, it's an advertising platform. When you open up LinkedIn, that's an advertising platform. When you turn on your TV, that's an advertising platform. When you're on your phone, that is an advertising platform. In fact, every phone has a hardware advertiser ID tied to the hardware. It's not software, it's hardware, advertising ID. Every app you install has a clause in there in the contract, which you don't read because nobody does, that allows people, companies, to gather your behavior patterns. Why? Because they're trying to sell you something. Block your mind, protect your mind. They want your mind, they want your influence, and they want your money. If you're not easily influenced, you could rule the world, and at the minimum, you could rule your own life. And that's the goal. I'm not telling you to change the world or rule the world. I'm telling you, understand what's going on, increase your level of awareness, so you could have your power back and your leverage back. And you can live a simple life that's not complex, where you can have a quiet mind, you're not confused, you're not being played as a fool, you're not making decisions and thinking that they're yours, but they're really not. You were influenced into making those. That's what I want for you, because that's what I want for myself. That's what I'm fascinated over, to watch my own behavior patterns as my human form, to watch other people, to watch society, and to see where the flaws are, make those changes in my own life, and then teach it. That's what fascinates me. But I hope you got something out of that, and I will see you guys in the next video.